If you get called out to the bander for a strap feed fault or the banding is not running all the way around, then you're going to look for a few things. Basically, the banding isn't making it all the way through to its limit switch to finish its path. Things that would stop it from running around would be possibly obstructions in the track. That's less common. More common would be an issue with the rubber pressure wheel here wearing out, and you can tell if it's worn out, if it's cupped or torn. The pressure for that wheel pushing down on the banding against the knurled wheel is adjusted on right here, this nut, which can be turned, and it's adjusted, it should be 3/4 of an inch without banding in the head. If you're having trouble with banding not making it all the way around the track and all that looks good, check the banding dispensers to make sure that they are strung up properly with the banding. The operator should know how. They have 2 banding dispensers there. Have them switch to the other one to rule out any issues there, because the feed wheel can't pull very much resistance. If your banding is getting stuck somewhere in the head, it's fairly important to have these wing nuts tight, as this plate holds the banding laterally to track it through the wheels, and it won't go left or right and get caught on anything it's not supposed to get caught on. So these wing nuts should be tight. Another reason you might get called out to the bander would be temperature issues, and there are usually 2 types of temperature issues. One would be you get an error on the temperature display. Instead of it reading 850 degrees, 910, whatever, it'll read error, or it'll jump around wildly, like 600 degrees, 1500 degrees, 400 degrees. It'll just jump all over the place. If that's the issue, then you're going to want to change. The problem lies either in the wire here or the thermocoupler, and I usually just change both of them at the same time to save downtime. Another temperature related issue is if it is not getting up to temperature on the display. If it gets, it climbs up to 450 degrees and just kind of peters out and doesn't make it up to 900, or if it gets up to 650, if it doesn't make it all the way up to temperature, then you're not getting a good connection, and that would be located on these 2 bolts, these lugs, and these bolts right here. You're going to want to make sure that they're tight, and you could try the bander, you could try to get up to temperature again after you tighten them down. If that doesn't work, then replacement of these lugs on the end of the wires will usually remedy it. If you get called out to bundle cut because the bands are slipping and popping, the problem will lie in the dies against the anvil and that pressure, but you can read the banding, and these are good die marks here and on the other side, here and here, from where they hold the banding in place. Die marks that aren't good, instead of being a solid patch right here, they will be scratches spread down the banding where it is slipped on the die. So if you have slipping bands, there's a number of things you're going to want to check. The easiest thing to check, and one of the more common issues, are these 2 bolts. The issue with them is that they'll get cracked and it won't allow the anvil to hold tightly against the dies. These 2 bolts, when installed, need to be very tight to hold that anvil down against the dies behind it. Otherwise the banding won't be held in place and it will slip when tension is applied to the banding. If you read the banding and you see that the circular mark is slipping, then you're going to want to check this die for worn teeth. And you could check against a die, a new die from the storeroom. And if the die down here is the problem, then check it for worn teeth against a die in the storeroom. The anvil has teeth on it as well, and you can check against a new one from the storeroom. Also, they do tend to get gummed up with the plastic banding material. Sometimes just cleaning them out will do the trick.